how much more of these videos am I gonna have to make? Welcome back to another episode of Everything is Getting More Terrible on the internet. So, let's talk about this little blog post that Android has released. A new layer of security for certified Android devices. Okay. You shouldn't have to choose between open and secure. By engineering security into the core part of the OS, Android has proven that you can have both, and we continue taking new steps in that direction. So far so good. As new threats emerge, we've continued to evolve our defenses. Following recent attacks, including those targeting people's financial data on their phones, we've worked to increase developer accountability to prevent abuse. We've seen how malicious actors hide behind anonymity to harm users, impersonating developers and using their brand image to create convincing fake apps. The scale of this threat is significant. Our recent analysis has found over 50 times more malware from internet sideloaded sources than on apps available through Google Play. Which makes sense. Of course, if you get your apps from who fucking knows where, you will get malware compared to the place that's supposed to be curated. And that stands for the Google Play Store, for the App Store and whatever it's called in iOS, or for other stores in the same operating system. So let's see what they continue saying, right? Let's see the core of the problem here. To better protect users from repeat bad actors spreading malware and scams, we're adding another layer of security to make installing apps safer for everyone. Developer verification, and this is where my skin is starting to get scratchy and itchy. This is where my hair is starting to rise. I don't like what's gonna happen, and let's just continue. Starting next year, Android will require all apps to be registered by verified developers in order to be installed by users on certified Android devices. Let me repeat that. Android, not the Play Store. If you're wondering what's a certified Android device, the certified Android device is basically the one that has Play Protect, the Google Play services in general. So anything that has Google shit built in. Importantly, that's not Huawei phones. I think Huawei is one of the biggest manufacturers that have to do without Google services for an interesting reason, but not the topic of today. At any rate, this would have been a feature that makes sense on the market or as a guideline for putting out marketplaces on Android, but this is going to the OS level, and I have problems with that. Because that means that Google now gets to decide who makes apps on Android in general, not who distributes apps on the Play Store, but who gets to make them to begin with. And I don't like that. I say this, we have to pause because this is the heart of the problem. Android and iOS have always been fighting, where iOS was like the secure walled garden where everything just works. And that has never been what appeals to me. But whatever, it works for a lot of other people. I'm glad for them, it doesn't work for me. Android was the whatever thing. Technically, if you stick to the Play Store, then you're supposedly safe. Most people honestly just get 5 apps from the Play Store anyway. Be like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, their bank account, and something like that. And they kind of stick to the same apps. And someone like me, I'm a developer, so I'm a bit more than a power user, but in my day-to-day life, I'm just quote-unquote a power user, which means that I get apps from other places, from GitHub, I sideload some shit. I had the liberty to do that back in 2015, when I had my Samsung Galaxy Nexus, which was my first smartphone. I got to just install a different version of Android without any problem. A fan-made version that's called Cyanogen Mode, which I think now evolved into Lineage OS. And I got no problem with that, I just fucking did it. I booted my phone in recovery mode and just flashed the ROM. Now if I do that, Samsung Knox or whatever is gonna piss its pants and fucking cry at me, which I don't appreciate, by the way. That's another topic. All that to say, we're seeing more and more what I want to call the mass murder of power users. That would be like a whole topic on its own. And if you don't know what a power user is, it's basically someone that may not know everything like technologically how their system works, but they still like push them to the limit. They still use advanced functionality and stuff, which pretty much applies to me when it comes to Android. I'm not exactly as well versed on Android as on other things. Smartphones are very streamlined computers to begin with, honestly. And even now, we're still getting more and more our choices revoked. Like, we don't have a say in what we can do on these things anymore. And I'm really upset about that. I really am. Especially when Android was supposed to be the fucking free and open thing. Which, by the way, you shouldn't have to choose between open and secure. What are you guys doing then? This is exactly the opposite of open. If I have to go to Mr. Monopoly to ask me, please, can I have my Android developer license? Even if I'm not selling my app on their platform. That's crazy. I don't mind selling my ass to them if I want to develop something on the Google Play Store. But if I make apps that I want to distribute on my website or F-Android or another market, just another Android apps marketplace like it exists, I won't be able to do that without asking Big Daddy Google for it, and that makes me really upset. Anyway, let's continue before I get more upset. I'll allocate some more time for that later. This creates crucial accountability, making it much harder for malicious actors to quickly distribute another harmful app after we take the first one down. Think of it like an ID check at the airport, which confirms the traveler's identity but is separate from the security screening of their bags. We'll be confirming who the developer is, not reviewing the content of their app or where it came from. This change will start in a few select countries specifically impacted by these forms of fraudulent app scams, often from repeat perpetrators. This is a difficult word for me. I'm French, I'm sorry. I mean, it's interesting. There's probably an amount of truth to it. I don't know how much that is, but there's probably an amount of truth to it, and I'm not that petty to say that this, what they mentioned about fake banking apps, etc., in those places that I distinctively don't live in, doesn't happen. But we can kind of all see how it's an excuse, right? Especially since it's coming from the same company that's doing, and that's why the ID check made me kind of laugh, the YouTube thing with the age. Yeah, we can all see it then. And another thing, I've talked on this channel about an initiative in Germany by some publishing group to try and get ad blockers banned legally. And I don't know, I'm a bit of a tinfoil hat theory, but I'm seeing the ID check from age, protect children, blah blah blah, etc. I'm seeing banning ad blockers, and now I'm seeing this, where they're basically like, oh, we will know exactly the individual who has released X or Y app, and after we've determined that their app is harmful, we're not gonna check it first, we're just gonna let them roll once they're verified with us. But when we did go, hey, I'm not okay with this being on Android, they say harmful. That's very vague language, way more vague than you could imagine. They can just go, no, we're gonna come after you. Let's say if you're a person that makes, random example, you make an alternate YouTube client that skips ads, that provide background playing or picture-in-picture, stuff that YouTube doesn't want you to experience for free. They will know exactly who you are. And they're certainly going to go after you. And whoever next is going to get that Git code. And yes, sure, a lot of this code is open source. Someone can just go to GitHub, make an app, and they can't mass distribute it anymore. Because you'll certainly be able to make a build for yourself. You won't be able to just give an APK file to your friend so they can install it. And certainly not going to be able to publish one on the internet for other people to install, because you will have to get a signing key from Google. You have to actually go, hey, this is my identity, I'm going to publish apps, I'm going to make apps that run on consumer model Androids that are not developers, etc. And if they find you, the cycle begins anew. It's your time to be cooked by Google. Isn't that what an open kind of market should be? Aren't you glad that we don't have to pick between being open and being secure? Fucking dickheads. Anyway, what else do they say here? Since we implemented verification requirements on Google Play in 2023, which I believe is here, The changemen in question were asking for a DUNS number, which when I registered again to be a Play Store developer, I didn't even know what it is, and I had to fight to try and get it, and I ended up just registering as an individual, even though I have a corporation in France to do software publishing, etc. Anyway, building user trust by helping them make more informed choices, which was actually a good thing, honestly. And that's just more declaration, more developer information. That's fine, honestly. I'm not upset with that. And keeping developer information up to date, same, they ask you periodically if they think your information is no longer up to date, and or they can verify it, they ask you again, or else they pull you from Google Play, which they have the right to do, both legally and quote-unquote morally. What I expect from a user is that if they're curating this marketplace, these dispositions do help security and they do make sense, and it feels fair for them to make. This is annoying for me specifically as a French person, because I couldn't fucking request one for free. It wasn't an easy process. But anyway, let's say that's not relevant, that's just my woes. We have seen firsthand how helpful developer identification is in stopping bad actors from exploiting anonymity to distribute malware, commit financial fraud, and steal sensitive data. Yeah, Google saying that always makes me laugh. Bringing a similar process to Android more broadly would provide a consistent, common sense baseline of developer accountability across the ecosystem. I lost myself there, because I despise this common sense baseline. Every time someone justifies you losing rights or losing some freedom and uses common sense to justify it, you fucking run, man. You just take your legs and you run the fuck out of there. It's the level 0 of argumentation that always works somehow, and I'm very upset about it. Anyway, in early discussions about this initiative, we've been encouraged by the supportive initial feedback we've received. In Brazil, oh no, Brazil, I thought you were based, what's happening? The Brazilian Federation of Banks sees it as a significant advancement protecting users and encouraging accountability. This support extends to governments as well. Not the government of Brazil, funnily enough, it was just Brazilian banks. With Indonesia's Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs praising it for providing a balanced approach that protects users while keeping Android open. There should be a massive asterisk here. Similarly, Thailand's Ministry of Digital Economy and Society, positive protective measure that aligns with the national digital safety policies, I'm sure it is. And partners like the Developers Alliance, what is that guild, what do I not know about them, have called this a critical step for ensuring trust, accountability, and security across the entire ecosystem. To make this process as streamlined as possible, we are building a new Android developer console just for developers who only distribute outside of Google Play, so they can easily complete their verification. Get in there and look at how it works, no thanks. Quick addition to this, as a Google Play developer, you also have a developer console on which you verify your identity, you do your Google Play developer ways there. That's just a technical version, I don't have something specific to comment on there, just adding it for context. For student and hobbyist developers, we know your needs are different from commercial developers, so we're creating a separate type of Android developer console account for you. That's a silver lining, I guess. I noticed there's not a lot of details as to what that separate kind of console is exactly, so wait and see, but I'm glad they at least do acknowledge that some people just want to make apps. If you distribute apps on Google Play, you've likely already met these verification requirements through the existing Play console process. True. You can find more information, no, we don't care. To be clear, developers will have the same freedom to distribute their apps directly to users through sideloading or to use any app store they prefer. This is a factual lie. This is a lie. We won't have the same freedom to distribute apps because now we need to sign up to Google, and Google can at any point tell us no. No, we no longer want you to make apps. We know who you are and you are persona non grata. Get the fuck out of here. Don't make apps for Android. Just because you make the text in bold means it's true. Fuck you. This is legitimately making me so upset. I hate corporate speak. Oh my god. This is why I can't be like people like Virtual Legality and all of these kind of like article reading podcasts, because that kind of hypocrisy makes me insane. I really respect them. Anyway, we believe this is how an open system should work, by preserving choice while enhancing security for everyone. That's again a factual lie, because if you wanted to preserve choice, then you could opt out of this security. You could say, yes, I want non-Google signed apps to be run on my phone. Do you think it's gonna be allowed to do that? I don't know, they certainly haven't mentioned it. But if this isn't an option, then no, this isn't open. This isn't open at all. If a system is open, I should need the approval of no one to operate on it. This is factually how it works. I can't stress this enough. I'm dying on the inside. Anyway. Android continues to show that with the right design and security principles, open and secure can go hand in hand. For more details, blah blah blah, we're gonna fuck you in the ass, etc. And you can sign up early. So basically, the timeline of this feature, October 25, so 1 month for now. Invitations will be sent out for early access. March 26, verification is open officially. September 26, Brazil, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand gets those requirements. I'm sorry for you guys. At this point, any app installed on a certified Android device in these regions must be registered by a verified developer. I do wonder if it's gonna be retroactive. Like, let's say you have a cool app that is YouTube but different installed. Or let's say you have Sonic Runners Revival installed, which is a port, not exactly a port. It's a remake, fan server, whatever, call it what you want, of a game that is long dead. It's certainly not signed by someone verified by Google. What's gonna happen to it after it? How am I still gonna be able to use it? And 27 and beyond, we will roll out these requirements globally. I hate everything this was. I really do. So where are we going from here exactly? What's the big idea? Because I just don't know how we can top this. We're just losing every single freedom that we could have in the tech space. And as someone that knew the ye of the internet, I feel hurt. I feel restrained. I feel crazy, honestly. You have to sell out your information consciously, like your ID. You're gonna be held accountable by all these big tech companies. They will decide what you can do, what you can't. That makes me really mad. I made the move to Linux recently. I've been using Linux in my life for a long time, and most notably because professionally I kind of don't have a choice. While keeping on Windows and dual boot, but I mostly stay on Linux until I have to game, basically. And I'm super glad that the Linux ecosystem is strong and truly open also. Which means I do have that choice on PC. It's scuffed on some of my uses, notably again gaming, which has made some tremendous progress with Proton. Thanks Valve. Somehow, thanks Corporation for helping us things be more, helping us have that open, free choice. But in terms of phones, there's this, which is the only thing I know, which is another Android distribution. I don't know if it's still maintained actually, 2024? Okay. But other than that, if you have an Android phone, you have to fight harder than before to even flash that kind of thing. And I'm not really sure that this will meet your need the same way that Linux can meet a lot of people's needs if they keep their heads open about it, basically. Not everyone, I don't want to be that kind of fan. But yeah, Ubuntu Touch. I don't know what apps existed there. I actually don't know. The fact there's a terminal kind of kills me. Oh, there's Android apps? Oh wow. Maybe that will work, but you would be limited because a lot of apps require you to have a certified device. Basically, again, what we mentioned earlier, so a phone that has Play services and a stock Android ROM, so not a custom one. I know Revolut does it. Maybe my banking app does it, I think it does. But I use Revolut, so I'm still impacted. I mean, at least on iPhone you were never promised an open software, so it doesn't hurt as much when they do shady stuff. But on Android, it was kind of the base promise, and I'm mad, and I don't know where this madness will stop. At some point I really want to do a deep dive, not exactly a deep dive, but an introduction on why open source software really matters, and why the more we leave corporations do whatever, and the less we support that kind of initiative, the more fucked we are. It can't come soon enough. And I have to hope that more voices stand out against that kind of stuff. Voices with more reach and more technical prowess than I do doing those silly little videos. Some people have to talk about it. We have to at least start the conversation anyhow. I'm really worried that Android ends up being iPhone 2, but this time with Google running the show, basically. In my later years, I'm starting to... Well, I'm not gonna say I trust Apple more than Google. It's that I distrust Google more than Apple, which is crazy when I remember when I was a child that I had a lot of good faith towards Google. I had a lot of goodwill, rather, not good faith. Yeah. Shit sucks. I'll continue reporting if I see tech stuff that makes me violently hungry like this. Keep your eyes open too, and let's talk about this. See ya.